You ask me personally, my business case is what I see in my family. I got a daughter.
Yeah.
I would like the world to be a place where she will not be deprived of anything because of her gender. That's my personal business case.
Many a time we find that that's the moment of truth for individuals where they come upon a conflict and they expect the organization to, do something. If it works as per what they've expected, then their loyalty and their engagement with the organization goes up. But whereas if it doesn't go that way, then it, drops.
Welcome to Culture Café, a vibrant and inspiring podcast series brought to you by the Confederation of Indian Industry and Avtar, celebrating 25 years of shaping inclusive workplaces. In this milestone year, we bring you transformative conversations with leaders who are redefining workplace cultures. From boardroom wins to human movements that changed everything. These conversations are your backstage pass to how organizations thrive one connection at a time. In this episode, we are joined by Abhijit Banerjee, Managing Director of Linde India Limited, a seasoned leader with 35 years of rich cross-functional experience in the manufacturing sector. He is also the Senior Vice President of Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Abhijit has steered Linde India through critical phases of transformation, growth, and crisis responses. With a deep understanding of manufacturing, operations, project execution, and business strategy, Abhijit leads with a rare combination of technical depth and people-first leadership. Here, he shares insights on resilient leadership, navigating change, and building cultures of safety, innovation, and accountability.
Building workplaces, cultures for over 25 years. This series is really a celebration of what Avtar has done, which is really making friends, which is working with organizations, almost becoming a part of their internal department, and really being their best well-wisher. And in that series, today, I am absolutely thrilled and delighted to welcome to the Avtar Studios one of Avatar's greatest well-wishers and someone that I have really had the privilege of working with over the past, I don't know, maybe 10 years. And so here's welcoming Mr. Abhijit Banerjee, Managing Director of Linde India Limited. Abhijit, welcome to Avatar Studios and to Culture Cafe.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Sandhya. Yeah. I mean, our relations go back quite a few years. I remember that day in Tolly Club, 2015, 2016, sometime that time when you had so nicely taken us through a workshop on diversity, primarily on gender diversity. Yeah. And after that, I think we've been working together. It's been a good journey for us. And thanks a lot for all the support you've been giving our organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abhijit. And before I start the questions and the conversation, I just want to share with our podcast viewers that Abhijit is one of those very rare human beings whose authenticity, whose groundedness is very amazing, and the way he has led Linde ever since becoming its managing director in 2019, and for the 10 years before that with Linde, where he has held key leadership roles such as head of procurement, head of sales, and then becoming the managing director. Abhijit has been a visionary, has been someone that has really led Linde through some of its very challenging moments, and also done a complete revamp of the way culture is experienced at Linde. And this is particularly in the context of the massive increase in women's representation in the workforce at Linde, which Abhijit has personally spearheaded. And one of the most amazing things, and I happen to know of this firsthand when I was in Kolkata for one of their celebrations, is in July 2022, under Abhijit's leadership, Linde inaugurated its first ever women-led packaged gas plant in Tiruchirappalli. And this is, to my knowledge, an absolute breakthrough, pioneering initiative in the industrial gases sector. And when I met the plant manager, and she was there for a session on intentional career pathing, and it was an amazing moment because that really showed that whatever investments are being made into the culture of Linde, they're not just stopping with platitudes, they're actually translating into grounded actions. So, with that, Abhijit, I'm once again absolutely thrilled to welcome you. And I'm going to, ask you my first question for this evening. Staying in a company for a very long time, as you have done, is something today's generations, the millennials and the Gen Zs, would actually look at and say, maybe, you know what, is that the right career strategy? Should you have done that or should you have explored more? What would your answer be to that question, Abhijit?
So that is something, yeah, if I look at my professional journey, next month I'll be completing 37 years. And this is the fourth company. The first one was a rather short stint of around 2 years, campus placement, joined Shaw Wallace. It was a very exciting time. But then when I got inducted, it was, they were going through a project. I got hands-on experience into executing a project. The project got over. I was put in charge of maintenance and utilities. And then I suddenly realized I'm twiddling my thumbs waiting for a breakdown to happen. So that's the time I decided I need to change. After that, the three successive, I mean, then I was there for almost 10 years with a project-based company, EPC. Then I shifted to another company. Instantly, all the companies except for the first one have all had German origins. Coincidence, nothing planned. The
Okay.
second company also I was there for almost 9 years. And okay, Linde, it's been 16 years now, 16 years
Yes.
plus. So it's a very valid point. So, a thought like this goes through my head when I interview people. And I believe staying in a company forever is not good. It's not good for an individual, not great for the company.
Okay.
Having said that, when I come across a CV of someone who's worked for 15 years and has worked in 12 different companies, there is a skepticism in me in whether I should invest in that person,
Yes.
to be
Yeah.
honest. So I believe it has to be a mix of both. Change is essential both for the organization and the individual, but stability is equally important. So it has to be a balance between the two.
Beautifully said. Absolutely wonderfully said. And when you said coincidentally, most of your employers have been German companies, I was wondering, did the Germans influence you or have you actually ended up influencing the Germans? Because it does appear that, a lot of, having worked closely with Linde for quite a few years now, I think I see that process orientation to be very, very strong, and everything goes as per the process. And things are like really planned well in advance, and there's always that element of foresight which is there and being prepared. But there are many of these small moments. There are these unexpected moments which actually end up shaping the culture of an organization. And the leader really causes a lot of those moments where a leader takes a decision or a leader does something very different, probably not what the organization expected. Could you share a story or a time when such a thing happened, when you or even any other leader that you have worked for did something unexpected, something small, which actually left an impact?
I can give some examples in my personal life, if I
Yes.
may start with
Yes.
that. Uh, one of the persons I was working in my previous company to this, that I was fresh that time, youngish. He was based in Germany. I used to work directly under him, operating out of India. He was acknowledged to be the global expert in his sphere in steel making. I worked very closely with him, learned a lot of technical, commercial matters from him. But the biggest learning he gave me once was he was quoting for a project in Taiwan where he wanted to take some supplies from India, cost base, etc. So he had asked me to prepare a quotation for certain items. He had given me a specific. Can you give me a broad specifications? Ask me to detail it out and price it out, which I did. The next day, while going through the whole thing, I suddenly realized I'd made a mistake. And it was value-wise a decent percentage of the amount that was quoted.
Oh,
I immediately called him up and apologized profusely to him that I have goofed up. I have made a mistake. I'm sorry for it. I will ensure that you are kept insulated. I will try to manage costs from other projects to ensure that you are not touched. This gentleman, he used to call me Abhijit. That's the way he used to pronounce my name.
yes.
All he told me over the phone was, Abhijit, don't worry. Only people who work can make mistakes.
Oh,
That left a very resounding thing in me. So things do go wrong. Analyze and move on. More important is just to move on. So for me, that was a very, very key lesson that I learned. And that's been
yes.
there with me for a long, long time.
My God, Vijay, that was so amazing and at so many different levels. It immediately showed that, he commended you for the hard work you're putting in. And, also at the same time saying that when you're doing so much of work, mistakes like this are but natural. But he also kind of acknowledged that there was a mistake that happened, which
Absolutely.
needs correction.
I
So,
mean, he
very
handled
this.
all the facets so beautifully in one sentence. That left an everlasting impression
Yeah,
on me.
yeah. No, I'm going to remember this, and with your permission, like take the essence of it into our own culture here at Avatar. This is so beautiful. Um, you know, managing of conflict is something that, and this was a classic case where you have actually there was a mistake, could have become a conflict, it could have become a problem, and that management of conflict is, I think, what really defines a culture. And, many a time we find that that's the moment of truth for individuals where they come upon a conflict and they expect the organization to, do something. If it works as per what they've expected, then their loyalty and their engagement with the organization goes up. But whereas if it doesn't go that way, then it, drops. So has there been an occasion or a time in your leadership where you've had to take that spot decision during a conflict? And, did it go the way you expected it to?
See, I have, one thing, there's an overarching feeling inside me, uh, which is, I mean, I think it's coming from, it's not that I've taught myself this, is having a basic sense of empathy, trying to understand the other person's point of view. So, uh, usually that's the way I always try to resolve a conflict because it's not that everything I know or I feel is correct may not be 100% correct. The other person's point of view also is something that needs to be listened to. Absolutely. So that has been my overarching principle in terms of how to handle conflict. Having said that, there are definitely occasions where I've had to pull my weight. It's not a very unsubstantial weight, as you can see on the screen. I've had to pull my weight and cause certain decisions to have happened. That's also been there, but that's not my normal style of functioning, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yes. No. I remember, in fact, I think during a conversation we had during one of the immersion sessions, if I'm not mistaken, that was the time when you said that Linde is going to, take these big decisions as far as women's representation is concerned. And I remember the more than the business case, the social case was important to you. The fact that, this is needed because there has to be representation of women in STEM. So I do remember the empathy part very well, Abhijit. Uh, Coming to technology, today there are folks who say that technology is actually isn't cultural understanding. It has made things easy. Like, we are now talking, and distance has not separated this conversation from being held. We are connected on Zoom and we are able to have this chat. But technology doesn't work in the same way in different industries. Yours is a hardcore chemical one of the legacy industries, which where technology has played a very different role. Whether it is in terms of production or it's in terms of supply chain distribution, all of that technology is. Do you think tech has also played a part in cultural shaping?
Okay, one great example was very visible when we went through the turmoil 5 years back. If technology hadn't been there,
Yeah.
we would not have been able to continue operating this company, serving our customers, serving the nation during that time.
Yes.
It was basically technology driven to a large extent. Uh, Apart from that, it does affect, I won't say that affect us more on the culture of the company than the culture of the people. There are several, just stepping back, as you rightly said, we've been at the forefront of the technology guiding our business. Uh, Linde, Carl von Linde was the inventor of this entire thing of cryogenic distillation. He's one of those very rare people who was a scientist as well as an entrepreneur, something like Edison. So he converted his scientific this thing he converted into a commercial venture, very, very successful. So we always on the lookout for enhancing our technology in terms of how we manufacture. More importantly, we look at how customers their manufacturing processes and how we can introduce our gas-based technologies to help them. We invest millions of dollars every year, and in India also we get that technology, which is all done centrally. We adopt that technology wherever relevant. We use technology for other means also for improving our operations. Safety, that's one major area where we use technology. For example, we have more than 800 vehicles on the road flying millions of kilometers every year. And every one of our product is supplying products to the customers, and every one of our product is hazardous in some form or the other. So all these vehicles are equipped with state-of-the-art cameras, GPS systems. We have AI-based technologies which are constantly monitoring the driver's driving behavior, sending out alarms in case of distraction, fatigue. So all these may not be changing the culture of an individual, but they go a long way changing the culture of the organization per se. And now, of course, Linde, from a global perspective, has started investing in an AI hub operating out of Bangalore, which will act as, sort of the mother plant for feeding AI solutions for Linde users all across the world. So,
So, the example was quite fascinating. The fact that technology doesn't kind of, actually impact culture, but it just permeates the lives of people. And therefore, through their behaviors, that final cultural output change
absolutely.
kind of happens. That's amazing. Um, you are a big, big champion of diversity. You are someone that has spoken about it, felt very strongly about it, wanted it to be visible and, all pervasive within the organization. But one thing, Abhijit, which even today, even after 25 years of Avtar and helping, I don't know, maybe about 400, 450 organizations in their diversity journey, we still have people talking about the business case for diversity. They say, why do we need it? Now, I want it, straight from the leader's mind. Why do you think diversity is important? Why are you pursuing it so in an industry which is where it's so tough, where, we are looking at one of the toughest industries for women to work in? And you've managed, I don't know, 23%. There's a huge
No, it's still not there, still not there.
you're getting.
I'll never be proud of our statistics, Dr. Sandeep. I'll never be
Come
proud
on,
of that.
come on, come on. No,
Uh,
so what is the business case? Why are you so passionate about diversity?
you ask me personally,
Yeah.
my business case is what I see in my family. I got a daughter.
Yeah.
I would like the world to be a place where she will not be deprived of anything because of her gender. That's my personal business case.
Very amazing. Yeah.
And overall business case, I shouldn't be giving such examples in public, but having said that, there are certain functions in our organization which are very, very customer facing organizations. I firmly believe having a gender diversity in the customer facing team also helps. I, maybe you can accuse me of exploiting the thing, but I don't mean it that way.
No,
But
no. No, it is one of the paradigms of diversity where your workplace should mirror the marketplace. So if you are
absolutely,
selling to women, if you're selling to a gender diverse organization, and the gender diverse organization wants to see you also being gender diverse, I think you have a business case right there. But I think, like you said, in your case, it's not, only all business. I think there's a big social component there, Abhijit.
yeah. I mean,
Which,
I've been in a family where women have. I hope this recording is not visible to them. They have dominated the families. Let's say. It's-
yeah,
So I mean, I. This thing about gender diversity is something which is ingrained in me. So I mean,
I,
it wasn't that because globally we have this target or regionally we have this target that we need to do it. This is something that we need to do for the society. And as we discussed, I mean, within South Asia itself, we've discussed, for example, the businesses of Sri Lanka and Bangladesh also report to me,
yes,
where the diversity mix is very, very different. So why can't we have that? It's essentially an outcome of, let's say, certain undesired elements, the way the society has developed. Isn't it time we changed it?
absolutely. Fabulous. Uh, so, staying on that topic, I think there would be times where, a very diverse team has probably come together and solved a problem. And one of the things I remember is the moonshotting session that we had, where, it was such a diverse team in the room. And the ideas were fast and furious and coming. Any time where, such a diverse team has actually solved a problem better than probably what
I
a
mean,
homogeneous team.
you
Yeah.
mentioned it in your introductory session, the 3G plant.
Yeah.
We know for sure it's the first women operated cylinder filling station of Linde globally. We have reasons to believe that it could be the first women operated cylinder filling station in the whole world.
God.
And
Wow.
when we decided to embark on this, we actually set together a multifunctional team to understand what could be the challenges in doing it. And that
Oh,
team had, it had people from the HR function, from the operating function, from the distribution of the transport function, from the engineering function. It was a full-fledged, multifaceted, multidimensional team. And definitely, there was a saying that, when you're filling cylinders, you're actually, there's a lot of mechanical work, hard work, and women can't do it. But that's actually wrong. You don't use brute muscles over there. What you
yeah.
use is basically science on how to handle these cylinders the most efficient and safe way. This was a resounding success for us, as you mentioned, and I still remember a particular when we formally inaugurated that plant. The whole team of employees was there on the stage. They were asked to come up and speak one by one. There was this lady. I believe she would be in her late 20s, early 30s. Uh, height of about 4 feet 11, 5 feet or so.
Okay.
She comes onto the stage and she says, my weight is 39 kilos and I can handle cylinders weighing 47 kilos.
Oh my God.
Again, you don't need brute strength. All you need is application of the mind, creating
Cool.
safe processes, using science, and just do it. So that was a brilliant example of how a multifunctional team can accept
Yeah.
the challenge and deliver on it. I mean, I was so proud of the team which delivered it. Really, I
I
still
can
am.
totally imagine that. Yeah. And you know what? You did a big meta thing right there. You spoke about a diverse team coming together to create diversity. This was a diverse team that came together to create the first woman operated plant and possibly the whole of the world when it comes to gases. So, This was really cool and very meta, Abhijit. Thank you so much. Last question, actually, one of two questions, depending on time, we will take a shot at both. What are some of the uniquely Linde rituals or some, something very, which you really admire, you like it. It could be something very small, very insignificant, but it's what makes the culture.
If I may, I get you two, three examples of what we have put in. One is what we call the safety moment.
Ah,
Any meeting, any presentation, or anything like that starts with someone from the participants just either uses a slide or just talks extempore about something which is related to safety.
safety.
It could be, for example, monsoons. It could be driving during monsoons. It could be about taking care of your personal automobile, what checks and things you have to do before the monsoons. It could be any subject which has a theme of safety behind it. That's one. Uh, as you said, it's a very small thing, but it just is there to sort of,
Yeah.
culturally, we believe that, I mean, safety is a very, very intrinsic part of the way we want to do business. And so another one is we have what is called reward and recognition scheme.
Mhm.
So I actively push my functional heads that I am giving you a target. I need at least so many recommendations every quarter from you, your team. You need to acknowledge the good work that people. It's the value of that may not be huge, but the appreciation that a company gives to someone, I believe to that the recipient of that appreciation, the value is uh, n multiple of what the actual financial value is.
Yeah.
And taking it one step forward is we have a Gala Excellence Awards session every year. Nominations are invited from across the entire country. We have a panel which, shortlists the nominees. Then we have an HR council which votes on who will be the voters, who will be the winners. And then everyone who was nominated is invited for a gala session. And it's out there just to celebrate the wins of the previous year. Of course, I always tune it down with the challenges of the next year. That's my job.
Yes, yes. Oh,
Uh,
yes.
okay. So it's important, it shouldn't always be about do this all the time. It should also be about, wow, you did this. Great. Thanks a lot. The company really appreciates it.
That's just absolutely awesome, Abhijit. Last question, although I know this conversation can just go on and, it would be completely amazing, both to us and our viewers out there. Um, so we all know that culture, and especially, in an organization like Linde, led by a leader like you, culture is not just about profitability, numbers, ROI, and so on. Culture is also about freedom, freedom of expression. It's about trust. It's about a sense of gratitude for what's there, and which we can experience. Can you share a moment where, the culture was this and not exactly towards, customer satisfaction or any of the known paradigms of benefits of having a strong culture, which is there's more innovation, there's greater customer satisfaction, there's customer loyalty. All of these are outcomes of a strong culture. But are there these things like, the softer things like maybe trust or something else which has also been the outcome of culture, Abhijit?
I would like to add one more item in that list of, let's say, whatever leads to culture is empowerment.
Empowerment. Okay.
Absolutely. And again, I mentioned this earlier. There are two things in our company, in an organization globally, we believe are absolutely non-negotiable are safety and compliance.
Safety and
So to
compliance.
develop that culture, we have a full-fledged process within the system, which starts with teaching people what should be done, what should not be done. These are mandatory sessions for any new joinee. Uh, and what is most important is to tell the people that they are empowered to stop anything that they feel can affect our safety or compliance here. Uh, I'll be honest, we've had some failures on the safety front in spite of this journey that we are going through. On the other side, I can also say with pride that the safety journey has improved dramatically over the last, let's say, 16 years I've been with this organization. And that said, so we have had examples, several examples, where possibly the lowest person in, let's say, a work stream which has been asked to do something has actually questioned why
Wow.
are we doing it this way and why are we not doing it this way? And that has led to sometimes stoppage of work also. We are very happy to stop work for such reasons. Very, very happy. And we'll ensure that that person is commended for having told us this.
That is actually a classic example of psychological safety, of the fact that the person, not just the physical and the conventional definition of safety, it also means that you've extended that safety into the minds and behaviors of people. Because if somebody were to be able to say that,
Okay.
that's a different
I,
form of
I,
safety too.
I, I won't say the journey is complete. We've embarked on it.
So,
We've had successes. We also had failures. I'll be honest. We've had failures
oh, I
also.
can I can imagine that. But Abhijit, this conversation is so typically you, so grounded and humble, and sometimes even self-deprecating. But at the same time, the value and the depth of what you shared is so powerful. I remember our conversation about women in STEM, and the fact that you wanted uh, uh, folks from even underprivileged sections of the society to have a shot at that, to be able to work in a setup where they are empowered, they are holding professions like that. And I think those are aspects of visionary leadership, of the ability to actually design a future. So this conversation has been absolutely heartening, and also one that shows that while, yes, the journey is long and there's a lot to be accomplished, I think Linde should very justifiably be proud, uh, and you should be proud in the fact that you have been able to achieve so much within a relatively short span of time. So, Abhijit, thank you once again for joining us, today for this episode of Culture Cafe. And anything else that you'd wish to say by way of closing remarks?
No, thanks. It was an honor for me to be on this podium, on this dais. Thanks a lot for that. And of course, as you rightly said, it's still a long journey, but I also have the comfort of knowing that there are well wishers like you to support us in this journey. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so very much. And folks, I hope you have taken a lot of notes. I think there were many quotable quote moments in today's show. And delighted once again to have had with us Abhijit Banerjee, Managing Director, Linde India Limited, for this episode of Culture Cafe. Stay tuned for more such conversations. Thank you.